Okay, I just went through Plato's Republic on audiobook for the first time in my life ever, actually, with any Plato at all. I know about Plato. I read some and listened to some Aristotle on audiobook, but my first time with Plato and Socrates. And I was inspired by on YouTube Michael Segru, I think it is, a philosopher, professor guy who's made some YouTube videos, and he made a little short course on Plato's Republic. And I actually got interested in that because I was kind of looking at John Locke, and I was looking at John Locke because I was looking at that other dude that came after in the Enlightenment, et cetera, et cetera. You get the point. It kept just unraveling the ball of thread until I said, you know what, I just have to do it. I have to go back and learn more about Plato because it's the foundation of Western civilization, and I should at least be acquainted with it, right? So his recommendation was just read it first, the first time, really roughly. He said you won't understand any of it. Don't worry about it. Just go through it quickly so you have the big picture, and then you can. I think he says he's suggesting, I would think, a second read or something. Although I don't know if I'm even going to do that because he said it'll change your life. It'll be life transforming. I'm not sure I'm having that experience in my lived experience, but we'll see. Maybe by the end of me watching his videos, maybe he will spark something in me that'll want to go back. Okay. My impression, it's a 12-hour audiobook, something like that, although I play it on faster than that, double speed or whatever. But it was a lot of jabbering, a lot of talking. I think the basic idea that Professor Segru was kind of going for is that there was this breakdown of old world religion, especially the Homeric kind of religion, the Greek gods, breaking down because of this scientific revolution in the couple hundred years leading up to Plato. And so people, he gives this great example of at once thinking the sun is Apollo on his chariot, and then looking at it and be like, wait, that doesn't even look like a chariot. It's probably just a burning piece of rock, because that's what it looks like. Like when I see a hot coal in the fire, it looks kind of like the sun. It's probably just burning rock, and so it's probably not going to get angry at me if I don't worship it. It's probably just the sun is just kind of hot. It's hot. It's orange. It's probably just burning rock, and that. Well, what happens when we don't have these gods that we're worshiping and stuff, and that leaves this kind of void, and then it's like, then is it just a Hobbesian kind of fight of all against all, which is the Themistocles or whatever the guy is in the Republic, who's the sophist. I guess that's his point, is like justice is just power. It's might makes right. It's just power. It's all just power games, and whoever is strongest wins, and that's all there is to it. And Plato, Socrates is trying to kind of argue against that and say, no, the justice is good for its own sake and it benefits everybody, it even benefits the unjust. And hence the Republic, which is this wonderfully just situation of civic political organization. So it's interesting because then it's like, what happens when you've destroyed your religion and stuff, and you're just trying to create a rational order of your people, that it kind of creates this void that a few hundred years later, well, I guess it's like almost 1,000 years until Constantine, but eventually Christianity kind of slips back in for European people in terms of religion, being like, okay, well, wait, we kind of needed some religion because we need some sense of things being meaningful in our lives. And then I was kind of in a discussion with some friends about religion and what, how do we have a religion these days that is honest and truthful and meaningful and spiritual, but it's kind of like aligned with our values. Like, do we need a lot more reform in all these areas? Because to me, God is very important in my life, and I like that. I like having God in my life, even whether that's in a religious sense or, if people even if from a scientific perspective of just thinking about like the universe is just amazing, like this vastness all around us and the size of galaxies upon galaxies is like, this thing is amazing, whatever this is. If you don't want to think of it as God, it's still something pretty amazing. So people need that, but also it's like people need to kind of somehow comprehend it. It's like so outside of anything we can kind of comprehend, and so we comprehend a lot of times by analogy and anthropomorphizing things, and that's how we end up with things like Greek gods, where a thunderbolt is something so amazing, like what on earth, a thunderbolt, even when we now know what it is, electricity from the clouds hitting the dirt, like that's still amazing. But if you didn't have the explanation, it's, I guess, even more mystical and wonderful and magical. And so we think, well, let's anthropomorphize it. So Zeus is up there throwing these thunderbolts at us because he's angry with us, which is a great image. And there's a way in which religion can take that kind of imaginary world, that emotional world, these feeling worlds, these intuitive worlds, these things that are not rational, all this irrationality of the human experience, and align it with something that actually is truthful, still truthful, because there's still something truthful of, like, if I stand, or if I go in a swimming pool when there's a thunderstorm, there's a chance I might get fried by a lightning bolt. And so if I tell a story of, like, Zeus is angry, and if I disobey his rules of not getting in swimming pools while there's a thunderstorm, so let's say that's Zeus's rule, but I've disobeyed the rule, then Zeus is going to punish me with this lightning bolt. There's a truthfulness in that nature does respond that way with a kind of reaction to our bad behavior. If I made stupid choices, nature is going to punish me. It's not literally a god, Zeus, punishing me with a thunderbolt, but there is that real natural punishment, and then that can actually relate to another discussion I was having about natural law with some other friends. That this idea of law originally meaning commands, like that idea, might makes right. The powerful people command things, and other people obey them, and that is what a law originally is. And then we have this other meaning of law in nature, which is just an observed pattern of cause and effect that we observe out in the world. And we call that a law of thermodynamics, for example. And it's kind of two different meanings of the word law, but it's kind of by analogy that we're calling nature's laws